Picture this. You're in a classroom, in a meeting, or in a big moment. A question is asked. You know the answer, but you feel it's not perfect. So you freeze. Someone else that is sitting behind you stands up and gives the answer. It is exactly what you would have given. That person gets the accolades, that person gets the praise, or even a raise, even gets a promotion. Sounds familiar? That is the sound of perfectionism. Perfectionism kills your dreams. Hi, I am Aslam Khatri. Welcome to the Growth Gap. This is where we bridge where you want to be tomorrow versus where you are today. So let's talk about perfectionism. What is perfectionism? Perfectionism is something waiting for a flawless moment, waiting for something that is going to be completely flawless. Now, that never happens. That never happens. But nevertheless, a lot of people get turned into that, get under that particular impression that they will not move, that they will not do anything until and unless it is perfect. Well, my friends, that is a dream killer of any project. And now let's talk about as to why does that happen? What is that makes people... One of the things Brené Brown mentions is this is like a 40-ton shield that people walk around. It's a shield that you do not wish to be embarrassed, that you're always afraid that you're not good enough. You're always afraid that whatever you're doing is not going to be good enough, that there's going to be a failure, that people are going to laugh at you, that things will not come out the way you think it is going to. So what happens is, this is when nothing happens. Nobody moves. No progress is made. It's like how many writers, authors, they write a book and they just keep on correcting it, but it never gets out in the market. It never gets to the print. How many artists create a picture, beautiful paintings, but they are put away and never taken out because they feel it wasn't ready? How many businesses don't take off, and how many projects that don't work? Now, this is what happens is because it's always tied to your own self in confidence, so that you feel that you have no confidence, that you cannot do this any further. You see, we carry this, we do this to protect ourselves, to protect our own ego, to protect. But then, is it protection or for the perfectionism, or is this procrastination? And that's where many people don't understand. Is it perfectionism, or is it truly just procrastinating and not doing? Now, again, that is same thing as any other muscle. Once we start to procrastinate, then something never will happen. Nothing will happen unless you start it at a certain point. The second thing is that in waiting for the best moment, we just continue to fool ourselves. We fool ourselves till either we give away the total plan, or we just say that it wasn't meant to be. Now, my friends, it is meant to be, but what happens is, us as human beings, sometimes we just sit back and not do anything. And when we don't do anything, nothing happens. Now, one of the things that is the reason for that is Like American Psychology Association showed that the perfectionism is getting more and more prevalent. They feel that since 1980, the perfectionism in college students have increased by 33%. And there's a great reason for that, because today we live in the age of social media where everything perfect is shown, where everything is shown to us, that everything, all the pictures are perfect, all the living is perfect, all the people are perfect, things they're doing is perfect. So there is this comparison trap. Now, comparison trap, we will talk about it in my other episodes, but this is what happens is you start thinking that you cannot redo, you cannot make what other people are doing, and that pulls you back. The second thing is truly our own from the childhood. Mostly of the children, mostly of the people, students, by teachers and by parents are pushed to look for A grade. And everybody wants to have an A grade student. Everyone wants to have an A grade things that people could do. So in other words, do everything, do it great. Now that puts so much pressure on some people that they can't. Now don't take me wrong. It is great to be always striving for the best. But sometimes we just hold ourselves back. And we hold ourselves back because we have been put that thing in our mind that says that we have to do nothing but the great. But this is a shame, because this is what exactly kills the dreams. This is exactly what kills the dreams of any project that you have in front of you. So how do we avoid that? What can we do that can help us try to be more understanding with our own perfectionism? I have here 10 points that I believe, if they are followed, they can help you with the perfectionism. And here are these 10 points. First is embrace good enough mindset. Now, most of the time, because we're looking for the perfectionism, we totally ignore that good enough is good enough. You see, anything that you start, unless you're waiting till you're waiting for it to be the perfection, till you're waiting for your business plan to be perfect, it'll never happen, because you don't even know. So unless and until you take a business plan that is good enough, and then you start with it, I call it 80%. You're ready 80%. This is when you will really be in the field. This is when you'll be talking to your suppliers. This is when you will be talking to your customers. That is when you start tweaking your business plan to where you wanted to bring it to the perfectionism. But you can't just sit in theory and create something and say that I want this to be perfect. So that is the first thing, that embrace good enough mindset. The second is set yourself time limits. Whatever project that you're going to do, whatever project that you want to start, give yourself 2 months, 15 days, 3 weeks, whatever it is that takes, that you think reasonably it needs. Once you do that, then you are getting to the finish line of your time. And you know that the time is up. You know that the time is up, and this is when you start acting. So time limit becomes very important in avoiding perfectionism. Number third is start before you feel ready. Now, I've always been one who does that. That's one of the things. Right or wrong, I do that because that helps me. That helps me go forward. That helps me start looking. Just to give you an example of Thomas Edison, who said that I have not failed 10,000 times. Is the 10,000 ways I found out how things don't work. Finally, he did invent what he needed to invent, but it took him 10,000 times. So that's what it is. Start before you feel ready. then you will correct your own mistakes. Number 4, deliberate practice imperfection. Deliberately practice imperfection. Why do I say that? Send a text out, email out to somebody else with typos in it. I do that most of the time now, only because person who is receiving understands what I just said. And there is no shame in just letting it go than to sit back and redo the same email, redo the same message, just because you feel that it's not perfect. All you're doing is wasting your time. Go ahead and do it. As a child, it's a story that was really a funny, I found it to be a funny story, but I was told in very early days of the British, when somebody went for a big civil servant job, they would observe the person sitting in a room and from the other room, just to see what they do. And the example was given, 2 people, they were sent packages. The first one takes the package and starts opening it with making sure that the paper has not been spoiled, that the knots have been taken out, and that all the whatever stuff was on the paper has been cleaned, and then the box is open. The second one basically receives the package, cuts it open, opens it up to see what's in there, doesn't take very much of time. So you see, maybe the second one is making a mistake by destroying the paper or the cord that it was covered in, but then he did it right away to find out what is in the box. So deliberately practice imperfections. Challenge all or nothing. See, a lot of times we sit back and we say, till everything is at the right place. The weather is right, the banks have come in, all the contracts are signed, everybody. No, there is no such thing. So challenge it. Challenge that there is all or nothing. Challenge that particular method. Go with what you have. Again, go with that 80%. Go with that 60%. And if you're like me, go with that 50%. Now, next one, which is number 6. This is connect to your values and your own purpose. You see, we can sit there and we can think about many ways. We can think about all sorts of situations which will make it much easier, which will make it much better, which will make it more perfection. But go back and see, why did you start this? What is your value? What was the purpose of doing this? And if your purpose was to start a business, then please start that business. Don't just sit back and wait for other stuff to happen. So that becomes one of the important things where we say, I'm not going to wait because this is what my purpose is. This is what I need to do. I need to get into the business. I need to do that project, or I need to go somewhere else. So once we know what our own passion is, once we know what was the purpose of doing this, makes it easier. Now, number 7, progress. Focus on progress. You see, if you started at 60 or 80%, good enough. Now start focusing on progress, not on perfection, because the progress will only come when we practice, when we get into it. So once you get into it, it will give you what you're looking for. Then you can continue to clean up. Then you can continue to do what you think you can do to make it perfect, to start tweaking the things. But first you must start looking at the progress as to what kind of a progress you're making. Again, that would also mean small steps. So when we start taking small steps, it gives us what we are looking for. Number 8 is practicing self-compassion. Now, we ourselves, I included, we'd love to give advice to other people and say, "Oh, don't worry, you will do well. Don't worry about it. This is going to go great." But sometimes what happens is we just don't do that to ourselves. We become so hard on ourselves because of everything that we want to do. We want to do it correct. We want to be so perfection. Give yourself some relax. Give yourself that self. Get self empathy. Give yourself that self compassion. Give yourself that self. Give yourself the time. Give yourself that. Let yourself out. Don't tie yourself up in such a strong situation that you can get out. So self compassion becomes very important. Now, number 9 is, of course, reframe mistakes as learning opportunities. Every time we make a mistake, I've always said failures are the pillars of success. I've always said that whatever doesn't go right, you go back and check it. Just the example I gave before, where Thomas Edison said that I did not fail 10,000 times, I learned 10,000 times. So reframe mistakes as learning. And number 10 is build a support system. When we have the support system, who we have already sat down, who we've already talked to, who we've already agreed with as to what we're going to do, that is going to help you. That's going to push you to do better things. That'll push you to go forward. That'll push you to embrace the good enough theory. And that's very important, because if you don't do that, then all you're doing is just killing the dreams of any project. And that's something that we don't want to do. What you want to do is create something. What you want to do is go in, start, not to procrastinate. Don't be afraid not to put yourself in a situation where, as if you're procrastinating, or you're waiting for something great to happen. Get into it, do it, give it yourself that time, like those 10 things that we talked about. So I hope that message resonates with you. I hope you understand, because what I want to bring to you is everything that is no fluff. It's a very simple, everything that we do, it is so simple. It is so simple. Just we need to do that. We just start. And you know that you will do better. Now, if you know of somebody who needs to hear this, please send it to them. Please subscribe to my channel. That'll help me a lot, so I can bring you more of this type of stuff. Till next time, I'm Aslam Khatri, wishing you a not such great perfectionism, wishing you just good enough so that you can start what you want to start.